Hello my friends, back with another video today, and I wanted to talk about something that obviously you saw in the title, Dream Lens, one of my favorites. Okay, let's put that aside for a second. I just wanted to go on a little rant before we start this video. So guys, I know that I've said this from the beginning, and a lot of you guys who have been following my channel from 100 subscribers to 500 subscribers, the first few videos that I made, I explained exactly what I was and where I was at. I am a professional photographer who actually goes out and works, is sought after in my community and around New England. I am not a YouTuber, okay? I do make YouTube videos and I'm putting effort into this channel, but my number one title and the thing that I actually do the most is I'm a photographer. I'm not eloquent. I am not very well spoken. I'm kind of rough around the edges. I give it to people straight, and I have my opinions on things. I'm an opinionated person. The last few videos I've gotten some comments from some people like attacking me because of the way that I speak, saying that I'm basically unlistenable, or I can't speak and I need to speak off a script. People just attacking me because I am saying that I'm a professional photographer and I actually have a body of clients that I actually work with. So I just felt like I have to say something here and get you guys, maybe, or the new people that are coming onto the channel seeing my videos, kind of get you guys realigned with exactly who I am and what I'm about with this channel, because it's not me. I'm not a very good speaker. I've never had any experience in front of the camera. I'm not a media person, and I'm just a real guy. And I think a lot of you guys who've been following this channel from the beginning, that's why you guys subscribed, is because you do see from the fact that, hey, I'm just a regular guy, I'm a real photographer, I actually am doing that for my job, and I have actual work out there, so you can trust my opinions on things. But then there's some people who are expecting me to be like a perfect YouTuber and a perfect entertainer. That's not what I am, guys. So if you guys are looking for YouTube entertainment, I don't know if this is the channel for you, honestly. And I'm really just looking to have conversations with adults, people who are out there actually shooting as well or want to learn, and people who want to have intelligent conversations, not expecting me to be some type of entertainer or perfectly well-spoken or something like that, because it's just not who I am. So if you guys want to keep getting real information from somebody who's actually out there working, and I'm not saying that this stuff's, everything I say is the 100% truth. I mean, in terms of like a objective standpoint, this is all subjective. This is the way I see the world, the stuff that I've learned, and I feel like I have something to offer you guys. But that doesn't mean that my techniques aren't perfect, or that I don't have places to improve with my work and things like that. It's part of the reason why I make these videos, is I like to start dialogue and conversations with you guys, and have photography related conversations and put ideas out there. And not just focus on things that really don't matter, but actually get to the meat and potatoes or whatever of the art form and us as real photographers out there working. So, if you guys have something negative to say in the comments, just save it and just move along. Go to a different channel. We got adults here. We got people who are professionals with kids and families and stuff like that. I'm not looking to get into any YouTube beefs or anything like that. So, if you have some constructive criticism, obviously, no problem. Send me an email, write a comment. That's fine. I listen to everybody. But if it's just to throw hate or just throw shade on my mentions or something like that, then just save it and move along, because we're like I said, we're all adults here. But enough of that house cleaning. So today I wanted to talk about a dream lens. That is the 58 1.4 Nikkor. Okay, so this lens, guys, is definitely what I would consider a dream lens. I've said this before in a couple of my other videos. I think that you guys should go with a 2' combo, or I'll at least try it. That's what works best for me over the years. I've done the zooms, I've done the 24-70 and the 70-200. I've done the thing where I bring 9 lenses to a wedding. I've done pretty much every single combo, and over the years, what I've seen is 2 primes in either the 35 and 85 or the 24 and 50 combo work the best. Now, those are 2 combos that basically you can decide whether or not you like the best. Normally, I'm partial to the 35 and the 85. I really, really do like that. But recently I've been also using the 24 and the 50, but in my case a 58 focal ranges. I think it's with two bodies, two lenses on it, with a wide and a short lens, you can really capture everything. And not only that, it gets you way more comfortable with zooming with your feet, getting comfortable to get into the spaces, get into people's, you know, faces really with the camera, get further out, really be moving around and being dynamic with your angles, and you know, just being able to capture different scenarios by moving back and forth. Because I know that in theory, you think like, oh, if I have a 24 to 70 and a 70 to 200, that's going to cover everything, so I could just zoom and I can get the picture. That's true in a way. You do have that range, absolutely, but the feeling of the photo is a lot different when you... I'm going to keep hammering this because this is one of the best pieces of advice. When you get up really close, or you get back really far, or get low and get high with prime lenses and do those different angles, there's something about the photo that gets transformed. People can feel the energy when somebody has a photo that's taken right up close in people's spaces. You know, it's a lot different than just standing far back and zooming in my opinion. I'm not saying you can't make great images with the 24 to 70 or the 70 to 200. I still use a 70 to 200, like I said, if we're in a ceremony or can't get close or there's a reason why, and I really need to compress the background with a portrait shot, I'll use a 70 to 200. But in general, I think it's best for learning and for really getting into the scenario if you can come up with two prime lenses and you can use one of each. So my pick for the 24 and the 50-ish combo would be the Nikkor 58 1.4. Guys, it's a dream lens. It's absolutely incredible on the Z body. So the first thing I want to talk about, I have some list things that I wrote down here on my whiteboard. First and foremost, the thing that's most important to me is the character of the lens. When you guys start shooting a lot of weddings or shooting a lot of people, you want to get comfortable with one or two really close, or one or two focal lengths, and keep your work consistent with those, because it creates a story and a consistency in the work. Plus, if you get good lenses, like a dream lens, like I consider this 58, you can create a character to your work that actually kind of describes you. I mean, the actual dream for a photographer is to have a body of work that's not watermarked or anything like that, and when people scroll through it, they say, oh, that's this person's work. You could just look at it and you can just know that this person shot it. That's the ultimate goal. You want to get to a point where everything is consistent enough that you actually have a style. And the only way to do that, because photography, you know, it's definitely intertwined by, there's things that go into it, but one of the characteristics of things that can define your work is the focal lengths that you use and the ways that you can get creative with the focal lengths, because each focal length has a different perspective as you move around. You know, if you're high or if you're low or in and out, when you're using that focal length, it's going to show the viewer a certain perspective that's going to look different. Like if you get low with a 24, that's going to look different than getting low with a 58. You know, so I think that if you can start to really understand these focal lengths, your style is going to get more consistent. And the only way to do that is to stick to the focal lengths and really, really learn them over time and learn how versatile they are, learn where the sweet spots are. I know this lens like the back of my hand. I know everything about this lens when you put it on a camera, how it shoots, where it's going to be the sharpest, where I'm going to get the best background effect, bokeh separation, where I'm going to get the best, you know, low light performance, in, out, how far I need to be away from the subjects. I know its strengths, I know its weaknesses, I know everything about this thing. And that's the reason why I can create images with it that are quick, and I can know exactly what I'm doing, and it doesn't impede my vision or creative ideas that I come up with. So this thing has a character to it. It has a softness and bokeh when it's shot wide open that I have not seen with any other lens. It's with an 85, when you get the background blur, it's kind of like a swirl effect. This doesn't have that. This is a very unique characteristic. I'll put some sample shots of things that I've taken with this. And that's another thing is, anytime I do a gear review from now on, I'm going to put sample shots up just so you guys can see, because a lot of people are like, oh, where can I see an example of this? Like, yeah, a lot of it's up on my portfolio, but I'll put individual samples that you guys can see. So the background blur on this, there's a certain perspective for it. It's got when you're shooting it wide open, obviously 1.4 is a very thin depth of field, but if you stand at a certain distance away, which I've found is about 6 feet, 5.5 to 6 feet from your subject, the background is just so beautiful. It's got a softness. The fall off on it is absolutely perfect. The character of the background looks so beautiful, nice and soft and buttery and not forced or jagged or anything like that. Very, very nice. The downside of it is the focusing distance. It's about 2 feet is like the closest that'll focus, and even that is like kind of pushing it. I think that's the max. Usually I don't want to get anywhere closer than around like 3 feet if I'm going to expect it to have this focus. I have used this on the D700 for a couple times, and on the D700, shooting into backlit photos, shooting portraits in backlight, it does not focus very well. Okay, on a DSLR, I just use it on a D700. Shooting back into the backlight, even if it's not crazy backlight, just if the sun is in the background, it doesn't really focus that well. But on the Z camera, this thing focuses perfect. Perfect on the Z camera, with the adapter, obviously. It's not a Z lens, an F mount. But the adapter with this thing on the Z body works absolutely flawlessly. Flawlessly. It's absolutely perfect. Low light focusing is incredible. I usually shoot this at around f2 to f2.2. That's kind of the sweet spot for me. I do shoot it wide open if I want that. But, I find that the depth of field with f2 to f2.2 is still, I have enough depth of field that everything's going to be razor sharp, and the background is still blown out. It looks absolutely beautiful. But if you have like a close-up, like with like a bride holding flowers or rings or something like that, open this thing up to 1.4, 1.8. It's absolutely incredible. It focuses just fine. The sharpness on it, beautiful. Absolutely so sharp. I mean, you can get tack sharp on people's eyeballs and really, really see like everything. All those little things that, if you zoom in to like 200%, you can see all the little contours of people's eyes and the, the different colors and eyelash. I mean, everything is just absolutely sharp on this thing. It's perfect. It is a pretty expensive lens right now used. I mean, the lowest price you're going to find is like $1,100, maybe like $1,000 for one in kind of crappy shape. But it's, in my opinion, it's worth it. The thing is I don't mind paying for a lens if I know that I'm going to buy it, because I stick with just, if I'm going to buy a lens, I'm going to stick with that focal length for a little while, or for a long time really, and I'm going to learn it like the back of my hand. I think that lenses should be, when you buy them, you should really, really intend to learn them like crazy, because a lens is not just something you stick on the camera and all of a sudden it produces great results. You have to work it, you have to know it, and you have to, it's like everything has its own character. Every lens has its own life to it. So you really, really have to just learn it. You don't just buy something, slap it on, and be like, oh, I should be able to produce perfect images on this. No, you have to know how to work it. So that's one of them. It's a perfect all-around lens for portraits, group shots, family formals, individual photos. It's really all-around great focal length. It's a little bit longer than a 50. Like, it's really, it's 58. It's a little bit longer, so it's perfect for portraits. I shoot all my family formals with it, unless it's like a really huge group and it's a really wide shot, and the 35 or the 24. But I use this 99% of the time for family formals and, just all around shooting. I never, unless I'm shooting with the 35 and the 85 combo for the day, the 24 and 58 is on me all the time and on my two bodies, and this is what I'm using 99% of the time on a wedding day. It's just, if I have the 24 to 58 combo on me, I'm using this most of the time, and if I have the 35 to 85 combo on me, I'm using the 35 most of the time. Those are, the two combos that I use, but those are the ones that get the most use. But this one, is unbelievable for pretty much everything. The 58 focal length is so good, guys. It's so good, and it's so versatile. On a wedding day, it's really tough to get everything, have one lens to kind of do everything. But this is probably as close to that perfect lens as possible. You know, the 35's pretty perfect, but it's not really, you know, in terms of portraits and things like that, it's not a portrait lens. You get a 58 on there, you can take beautiful portraits with it. Obviously, I'm going to have samples flickering as I'm, you know, going through this. So I talked about the bad focusing distance, how sharp it is, and I just want to, you know, hammer on the fact of how fast it is to focus with the Z cameras. And the FTZ adapter, I noticed no lag. It locks on perfectly. It has no problem focusing on low light, or in low light. But I just wanted to kind of talk about that. It's one of my dream lenses. I made this video because a lot of people have been asking me to do a video on the 58 1.4 because they know I use it. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of talk about that. So let me know if you guys have used this lens. You know, I would like to hear you guys' experience with it. I know not a lot of people shoot with this thing. It doesn't seem like it's that popular of a lens. Maybe it's because of the price, probably. But for me, I justify the cost because I buy something and I really hammer use it and learn it like crazy. And I'm telling you, this focal length combined with the sharpness, the image quality from it is great to learn because it's a character. It can bring out a true character in your work that's different than anything that I've seen so far. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Until next video, guys. Oh, also, one other thing. We have an engagement shoot in a couple hours. I am going to bring the GoPros, Sarah and I, and we're going to record some behind the scenes footage for you guys. A lot of people have been asking me about that, so we're going to do that, and you guys will be having the first Perla Images behind the scenes photo shoot. So we have a wedding coming up, we're going to do it also, but we're going to be filming a lot of behind the scenes stuff so you guys, the new guys, can kind of see how we interact with people and just how things go, you know, when we're shooting with customers and clients and things like that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I appreciate every one of you. Alright, later.